There is a time code on it, so...
It's quite funny. It actually worked out better for Tom's segment.
Well, to conclude, you're an idiot.
We know that.
That's basically
well,
it.
Here we are again. Yeah.
We're sat outside in an ibis.
We can say ibis. We're not there anymore, so we can say we sat outside an ibis in a garden with what look like mushroom chairs.
Lovely mushroom chairs. What do you think of the mushroom chairs, Marky?
They're Max mushrooms.
They look magical.
Magical.
They're not Max either.
They're not Max.
No. On this special episode of the Incensed podcast, Ian is still all-American in Starbucks.
Mark's Italian is coming along nicely.
And Milo's Aperol the Spritz up. Benvenuti.
Yes.
It is the Incensed podcast.
Perfecto.
Benvenuti. It is the Incensed
Benvenuti.
podcast. Yeah, we're here. We're sat outside, as Ian's rightly said, outside the abyss. So we haven't got to worry about the 8.5 people that might try and get into the hotel if we said this in real time.
Oh,
so,
cheeky.
Yeah, chilly.
Cheeky, chilly and everything like that.
Actually, it's got a bit breezy, actually, hasn't it now?
But we are here in Milan for
Milano.
the City Safari event going down this weekend right now. Currently, we're sat outside with a fefew beverages by our side.
Non-alcoholic beverages, mate.
Very much so.
At the moment.
Yes. We'll save the good times for
Yes.
later. Although I will admit I have had an Aperol Spritz or two along the road.
Oh, in the park.
Not
In the park.
surprising.
Yes. But how are we finding the Italian sunshine for a bit and now a bit of wind and overcast?
Well, the weather's actually been okay. What I am actually struggling with is the glitchiness of the event. I have never had such a laggy, glitchy phone
Really?
since the early days of Pokemon Go.
And you're on the premium, super duper iPhone, God knows whatever it is, 27.
15 Pro Max.
There you go. We're
It's
nearly
old.
there.
It's a year old.
Yeah, it's been a strange one, hasn't it? I mean, obviously, we've got more than just people playing Pokemon Go to contend with. We're in a city.
Full on Italians.
It's Saturday, and everybody is visiting the city that's here. We're using their phones as well. So it's obviously, it's probably the bandwidth, isn't it? Or what do they call it, Ian? Is it the mobile? Ooh. In England, everyone would have gone.
It's
"Wee,"
the
but they
loading on
don't-
the cell towers.
Not here.
Yeah.
Not here. Not in Italy. They're respectful of people dropping things in hotels. And
Absolutely.
restaurants. My inner
Shouldn't-
it's coming out
It
there.
was in your head.
It was in my head,
Internalised fully.
And what I find actually particularly interesting is we are surrounded by millions of Francescos.
Is that the common description of a unit? Of,
Yeah, that's what we call an Italian. One human Italian is one Francesco.
Yeah, I know. Plenty of me around, so...
all mixed
There's
together.
a lot of shouty people, isn't there?
Yeah, there are, but they're not as cool as Francesco. They're all just like imitation Francescos. So
They're not the real deal.
not the real deal. Not the real deal. But no, it's been like 4 seasons in one day, hasn't it? Like as Credit House.
We're not at the 4 season, we're at the Abyss.
Yeah, but we got off the hotel. So for the listeners, we'll explain the journey we've got here. So we're sat here with the crew. Francesco Sue with us. Have been here since Friday. Milo's been here since Friday.
Aye, indeed.
He's had the evening to get used to it. Me and Ian met each other at Stansted at 4 o'clock this morning as we're recording it.
We
Finest
did,
airport
yes.
in the world.
Finest airport in the world. And to be fair, no issues with it really when we got there, were we?
It was a
In and out.
very, very
Nice.
smooth operation, straight through security, apart from Mark having his bag swabbed because
dear.
they thought he was smuggling.
Yeah, smuggling swaddles, I think.
Yes, exactly.
That is
Mark
frowned
did
upon
say,
in
my
Italy.
bag has been in Amsterdam.
Has it been washed down since then?
It was so funny though. Was it the guy who did it was fantastic? He was like, so I have to tell the story.
Yeah.
So there's obviously loads of these people's trays getting checked over, and they're running them through the machines.
Oh, is this the Marmite guy?
Yeah.
Sponsor it now.
No, you've not.
No,
Not yet,
no.
no.
So it was a couple beforehand, and anyone who's travelling who's got an ounce of awareness. I'm not going to insult anyone because I know it's complicated and you've got a lot of things going on when you're travelling. So one person had on the side, best thing I can describe was bottles that were like 500 million size, and having them
Right.
pulled out and kind of looking at it and questioning, why are you taking my 500ml bottle of moisturiser out my bag? Well,
Yeah, but it wasn't just one, was it? This guy had like 4 or 5 of the damn things.
Somebody's clearly never been to an airport before.
Toiletries galore on this countertop.
they were almost as big as my litre bottle of water that I'm drinking.
Well, you
at
going
the
to say
moment.
something else then?
But the thing was,
It's a different podcast.
different podcast, but like it was so funny seeing this reaction. So they were looking like a little bit angsty about it, and then like as Ian said, then there was the other couple, typical British, they were a British couple travelling, travelling pretty light like we have because we're only over here for like a couple of days, and they had a little tub of Marmite out on the side, and it was so funny. So it was smaller than 50 ml. This little tub was. So I get it. The context was there, but the guy was brilliant. The guy was pulling this out. Said, he goes, "Listen, I think they do travel size ones when you get over there." Quickly followed by, "Oh, I can see why you brought it over with you.
I know it's very important to you.
I know it's very important to you." And then there was me, and like literally was swabbing my bag left, right, centre. And suddenly you feel very on edge then, watching the machine like scanning it, waiting for this swab result to come up. He's pulling things out. He goes, "Can I look in there?" And I'm like, yeah, I've got my battery pack, phone, legal ID, and all that sort of stuff going on. Only joking. And we don't condone that behaviour on the Incensed podcast. And
Absolutely not.
It was so funny. The guy was just like, "So what are you doing in Italy then?" And it made me think, am I actually... So he goes, "Where are you going?" And I was like, "We're going to Milan." He goes, "Oh, what are you hoping to do out there?" I went, "Are they letting me through?" Or am I...
properly
What are you
questioned
hoping
here.
to do?
What are you hoping to... And they're going, somebody's come up and they're not letting me through. They keep, I was waiting for someone to appear from behind to go, "Just this way, sir."
I'm afraid we have to detain you over here.
So all I could hear Mark say was, "Well, I'm going to make a video."
Yeah. I said, "Me and Ian," and Ian's gone by that point. Oh, all right.
Ian's out of there. Woof. Get him to the gate.
Creating content. This is what you're listening to. It's content.
Yes, not just the video galore. There is audio stuff in there as well. But before we push on any further with the Marmite chatter, listeners,
Oi, you dirty dogs, drop your incense.
the reason we'll get you to do that is so you can tag us across our socials, which might be Ian.
Yes, well, we have a few socials you may or may not recall. We have X, Instagram, Threads, Blue Sky, if anyone's still using that. But there are other ways to contact us as well. There's our WhatsApp number, +44 759 269 5696. Our email, contact@incensedpodcast.com. Or you can push the messages button on certain podcast platforms. But using all of those, you do need to use one hashtag.
Could you please clarify that spelling for me? Please.
And that hashtag would be
H
SINESOFT.
I O H
E
E
K.
Anyone would think we'd practice that.
We've had enough bloody turns of going around and trying to synchronise everything. But now we can properly dive into the show, which, even though we're abroad, we still have one section to dive into.
Do you want to sing it, Francesco?
No.
Aw. Funny, because normally Francesco will just walk around going, doop, 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 doop,
Mamma
doop.
mia, just tell me about yourself.
Just tell me about you, mate. Just what's going on?
I tell you what, Francesco, as soon as you opened your mouth, that sounded almost like the audio track. That is so uncanny.
You want to listen again?
No.
No.
It was just the fact you sang that then.
No,
It was beautiful.
stop.
That sounded so lifelike.
So, yeah, it is the getting to know you section. And, I thought as we're in Milano and as I've shouted across the street and said that Inter Milan are the best football club in this city, without getting
good.
lynched. Yeah, I did say it quite quietly, to be fair.
He actually did go into the
Yeah, to get to the club shops. Yeah.
club shops and said that in both stores, actually.
I did. I said, Inter Milan the best in both of them. So half of Milan likes me. The question, though, is not which is the best football club in Milan, because Ian and Milo are looking at me going, "What the hell?"
I think Milo and I both agree that there isn't one.
No, as far as I'm concerned, Inter Milan is what we did on the train from the airport.
That's what we did in the Uber, actually.
Ah, yes, Inter
Into
Milan.
Milan.
That's what we do.
That's what he said, wasn't it?
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
Well, is it coincidental with the second Uber that we went in? It had AC in it. Is that AC in Milan?
Air conditioning.
That's what I mean. Air conditioning in Milan. I don't know.
Air conditioning in Milan.
Conditioning in Milan. Anyway, you haven't come to listen to the podcast for our football chatter on Serie A, even though I was giving Ian a crash course on that on the way in, as we saw signs for Como.
No, I almost went comatose. Someone's giving me the history of all the
Of Como,
Italian
very good. I
football
like what you
teams.
did
Yes,
there.
yeah.
A Como
Como
toast.
toast.
Comatose.
Very good. But anyway, that's
Como
enough.
on toast.
Can I keep these up today?
Oh, dear goodness. Well, we've got the question, the Getting to Know You section, and the question is, what is the one thing that reminds you the most about Italy?
Can we say Francesco?
That's my answer.
That's a daily influence, really, isn't it? Just to remind you. It's a very good question. We've done this at various other live events, haven't we? With Barcelona. And
Barcelona, New York, London.
Yes. Anywhere we go, it's sort of customary. And
Croydon.
Croydon.
I said London just
That
to take the
episode
pain
hasn't
off.
aired, I'm afraid. The recording equipment got
The reason I
stolen.
said London is because I don't think Milo actually went to Croydon for more than half a day. He refused to go
in there.
back.
Wouldn't go in there. No. It was a
No injuries
sweeping
in.
on
He's the only
by.
one who wasn't injured after that 2.5-day ordeal.
Psychologically, yes.
The mental damage is still there. It'd be very easy to go along the lines of the food and things like that. Italy obviously has its renowned dishes that everybody loves from across the
Ragu.
world. And I know that perhaps we'll be having some of them a bit later, but
KFC, saw that today.
I saw that when I came and I thought, Ian will be happy.
First thing Mark and I said, we're driving down towards the Duomo and there's a KFC there.
Ian's beady eyes make a gaze. Ooh, I know
No,
where I'm
we was
going.
reminiscing about Portsmouth, where as soon as we arrived and was waiting for you and your other half to arrive, Mark and I went for a KFC in Portsmouth waiting for
Oh,
you.
that's your finest memory of the South Coast.
That was our defining memory.
Anyway, getting back to it. I don't know. I've got to say, honestly, that something that's become a customary part of any trip to Italy is the Aperol Spritz. And when you're here, it just tastes so much better than getting it in the UK, obviously. And also, it's not such a damn rip-off. But no, that's why Mark must have made the reason? No, reference. That's it. Referenced it in the intro. I do like an Aperol Spritz. They're fantastic in Italy. And that's what I'm going to pick.
Well, I'm going to be having one of those as well tonight, I think.
Fabulous.
So, I like an Aperol Spritz. So
We're
Aperol
having
Spritz,
one while editing.
This will form part of the poll. So the poll will go out. We're doing it on
the bowl.
the poll. So the poll will be going out. So bit of one, you'll be seeing it on social media and wondering what the hell are we on about. But it'll be revealed later in time as you listen to the show. Ian, we've got Aperol Spritz. So what about yourself?
If you say KFC,
I'm not going to say KFC.
I'm gonna say, I have a very weighty hotel room key that is basically a murder weapon.
That looks like a
God,
weapon.
that looks like a sex toy.
Naughty.
I will clobber you to death with it, Vassa. Just feel the weight of that.
Look, it is heavy. Pull his britches down that well.
So keep yourself in line, Vassa.
We lead them there down a windy road, don't we, Sue?
For darn sure.
Sometimes. Jesus.
I'm trying to think what Milo's been doing with that.
Opening
Anyway,
my room door.
is that what you call it these days?
Well, that's if you can't get.
We're family friendly.
Yeah, but Milo, no, but Milo, I love that because I'm the same. Because when you get to these hotels, the key in the door's brilliant, isn't it? But sometimes you get these weird shakes. You're trying to get it. Use that to just bash the door down.
Honestly, you could.
It's like when you go to a restaurant at a petrol station, they give you a steering wheel with the key.
That's it. It's like the key. It's a weighted key.
This is the wheel of the person who last used it.
Yeah. So go on, Ian. Key fobs aside, what's your what makes you think of Italy?
It's a tough question because the initial thing is pizza, but pizza is such a worldwide phenomenon. It isn't exclusive to Italy, and I'm yet to actually try a proper Italian pizza, hoping that Franco can suggest somewhere good for later. He's nodding.
I had a really good pizza last night.
Yeah.
Worth getting.
I'm gonna go left field. It's not the first thing I think of when I think of Italy, but it is
That was the
something that
question.
occasionally think of. I'm gonna say Michael Caine.
The Italian job.
Yes.
Well, that's just. That's just literally. It's clues in the title, dude.
Exactly.
Hang on, lads. I've got a great idea.
Ian, what have you gone for? Michael Caine?
It's Michael Caine.
Is it just Michael Caine, not
Just
the
Michael,
Italian
not
job,
the Italian
Michael
job,
Caine.
Michael Caine specifically.
So we've got Aperol
Actually, no,
Spritz.
we're gonna go for an Italian job. Let's.
Sorry, Ian looks like he's been kneading the backs.
Actually, it's funny. It's funny you should say that because on the
Welcome, traders.
on the CA photograph, I actually nearly was.
And how did that occur? Let's come back to that in the later chat. So, Marky.
Italian job is my answer.
What signifies... Oh, he is going Italian
Yeah.
job, not just Michael Caine.
Michael Caine
Right.
movie Italian, not
Okay,
the remake.
Italian job.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the Italian job. So for mine, I've referenced a few football teams earlier in tonight's in this conversation that we've had. Like, listen, when I grew up, I'm a football fan. I think people know
Are
that
you?
by now.
Never.
But listen, as I click on another low tab, as I'm talking to you guys, when I was younger and I loved football, Channel 4 brought Italian football into the UK household. So, like, this is before Sky.
Damn you, Channel 4.
Before digital TV and all that. So Channel 4 had Serie A broadcasting house. So that was back in the day. We had people like Dennis Bergkamp, Ruud Gullit, Marco van Basten, all these people playing in Serie A, and it was a different level of football. The Premier League wasn't really there at the time. It was a new world of football brought into the UK audience. And I think most people, certainly when I was at school, had an Italian team that they liked and really, really enjoyed it. So my answer to this question is Serie A. That's what reminds me of Italy, purely from, again, being a football fan, watching it for nearly 30 years, maybe longer, and really, really do enjoy it. So, yeah, so Aperol Spritz, the Italian job, and Serie A football are what reminds us of Italy the most. Love it. That is probably all do it all in one good night, actually, to be fair.
You probably could. I mean, you steal some gold bullion, I'm sure, Vasa. I expect to see that in your next vlog.
You're only supposed to blow the bloody doors off.
That was a terrible impersonation. Come on.
That wasn't an impersonation, that's
It was
why.
just a quote directly.
It was a quote.
You are
Only supposed to blow the bloody doors off Vassafal. Come on.
chap. Well, that's what we think most of in Italy.
But it's not really for me, but there we go.
Oh, Ian.
You didn't watch it on the plane over?
No.
No, that's a shame.
On Ryanair.
Oh, yeah, you
get a
did
seat on
Ryanair.
Ryanair.
Ian fell asleep
You
on
have
the
a
plane.
phone.
That's true,
Could
actually.
have downloaded it before that. I expect you to watch it on the way home.
No.
Yeah, but while Mark busies himself on social media typing whatever his football reference was, I've actually forgotten it already.
It just sounded like white noise to me. It
Shall
sounded
we have a little chat about this event that's going on right now? Because
the
obviously,
Fuzzy Buddy event.
well, we could begin with that appalling interruption.
Well, it's not that much of an interruption, though, because we didn't lose spawns.
No.
And we didn't lose tasks.
Pleasantly surprised because the way that it was worded and alluded to us was that, you know, the Fuzzy Buddy, don't worry, trainers, going to any of the city safaris, you guys will have the opportunity to experience this event in full, which meant spawns being lost, research tasks all gone. And as we've got to the point of playing the event, thankfully, it's very minor.
There's no inconvenience at all. We have still got full event spawns. There are a few tasks exclusive to Fuzzy Buddy, which are in some of the stops. But really, I wouldn't say we've been inconvenienced.
No, and honestly, I think that's a beautiful thing, to be honest, because the City Safari is the event that we came here,
Yes.
flew here to play, and if it had been interrupted fully for 3 hours, that would have been less than ideal.
We were worrying a little bit. We were a little bit apprehensive as to what might happen, especially since we haven't been keeping an eye on what happened in other regions, for example, India and Singapore. So we didn't know that we were actually going to keep our spawns. Thank you, Niantic. That
Yes.
actually has made our event, because 3 hours lost would have been a big impact on today.
We should actually mention as well, hashtag sponsor, thank you very much, Niantic,
Yes,
for the
yes.
event tickets.
Thank you for the tickets, Niantic.
And
thank
you may
for...
have seen some bits and pieces with Ian screaming his head off
Welcome, trainers.
on the official channels. I thought you did
Yeah,
a fantastic job of representing the UK.
I channel my inner Clarkson, Whitfield. I think
am
you'd be proud.
I am immensely proud of you. my man.
And you'll be proud of Mark saying Pokemon names as well in his clip.
Oh, we could say that. So they had a little game for social media, didn't they, where it was saying different Pokemon names in different languages, which sounds oddly familiar.
It does sound quite familiar. I think somebody must have been listening to our earlier shows when we used to do Name That Pokemon.
Yeah, we did that, what was it, years ago?
3 years ago?
Yeah, long time ago. We need to bring that game back at some point.
We
Because
do.
now it's just backwards.
Now it's backwards Pokemon. And we don't mean backwards, we mean reverse names.
Reversaled. Thanks for jumping on last week.
Yes.
As well.
Thank you, Gio.
But I know Mark's still busy typing away. What's your favourite catch at the moment? Because we've obviously only a few hours in, really, on day one.
Well, I think both you and I can do a minor flex, because we'll touch on the gameplay a little bit later, but what was that noise?
That was me.
Oh, okay. Minor flex. Francesco heard something, so
There's
did I.
supposed to be a creaking door flexing slightly.
Yeah, minor flex, but when we was in Barcelona, the Skidoo seemed quite a regular occurrence, especially as a shiny. Now, here, there's been a lot of chances to get MUDBRAY. But the shiny rates have not been kind to a lot of people. I think you've done fairly well with your
4 MUDBRAY
after the
now.
first 5 hours of the event, and I'm on 2, so both of us have families complete.
Yes.
Marky, I believe, is on 1, so is Francesco, and poor old Sue is yet to get on the board. I mean,
with that introduction.
Sue is not struggling for shinies. Let's not go for the sympathy vote with the listeners. Sue isn't struggling for shinies.
But the shiny that is represented at this event for the first time.
She just doesn't have Donkey.
Donkey!
Donkey!
Do your best Shrek impersonation. But in terms of the rest of the spawns, like, what are your thoughts on it? Because I'm sort of looking at it going, I need to tick off an Esper, and I wouldn't mind some Zhangmo, which I've picked up a couple of.
Yeah, I mean, there wasn't a lot going into this event that I actually needed. I needed a second Tortuga, managed to tick that off fairly early. I needed this shiny unknown M, which, again, ticked off. That was first shiny of the day, in fact. I still want the Corsola, and I still want 2 more Jangmotos, because I only got 1, I believe, at Global last year. So there's a couple of chasers, but I am playing the game somewhat differently to most. I think I'm playing it similar to what Franco is doing. I'm only tapping on Mons I want. So my shiny count is naturally going to be lower than most people's. And it's crap anyway, at the best of times.
So yeah, we're, as the guys have said, we're at a certain point now on day 1. I came into this event actually ill-prepared, did not actually know what was spawning other than the new shiny MUDBRAY. I got my shiny MUDBRAY second MUDBRAY click, so very happy with that. It's not appeared again since then. But
yeah, you was actually only beaten by Nicole, who got it on, I think, the first check.
Yeah, the first check for her, she did very well there. But, you know, I'm unlike Ian. I'll click on anything.
I'm with you.
And by doing that, you make your own successes or failures depend on what.
So what has been plaguing your day?
Yeah. So Miltank, Miltank, this lovely blue shade. So
I think that's about right for you, mate. To be honest,
I think you're right. So I'm happy. I needed a second Tortuga, got that today. I needed Jangmo, got none of them, got 1. So happy with that. Got an unknown shiny C for Sue. So
lovely.
That's there in the background, ready. And yeah, loving it. You know, I'm loving the fact that we've got a decent city event on, and actually, from what it feels like, the spawns are really heavy. From what we can see, there's a lot of spawns. The research tasks are well spread out, which is great. And I think these events, if you've not done them before, do them. They're fun. They're local. Europe's on our doorstep. I said this to Ian when we were flying, and we're very lucky that when we travel east out of our country across into Europe, it doesn't take long to get anywhere.
True, yes, southeast.
Which less than 12 hours when we left Stansted. So it was later than that, wasn't it, when we met? So yeah, love it. Great event.
Yeah, I mean, really, from when we met at 4 a.m. to getting into Milan, it was less than 4 hours, a 2-hour flight, and then just like an hour and a half at the airport. So it really, really was a quick journey. And which Paris will be the same. That's about 2 hours on the train from St Pancras.
2.5 hours on the Eurostar, yeah. It's one of these things, like, when we went to Duomo this morning, it was just a swarm of players who were here for the event, and it's awesome to see something like that. Huge turnout. Loads of people obviously come from the UK, but there's so many people who've come across from different parts of Europe who either drove, because it's that close, or took a train, or even like us just flew over because it was easy to do. And something about a city safari experience that's a more accessible event, really, because you don't have a park experience.
City's your park,
you
in
just
essence, isn't it?
go around and do your own thing in the city. It's free for all. Yeah, exactly. And Milan is really, really nicely set out to just go around and explore. Certainly what I've experienced this morning, it's just been really, really fun. Went up to the castle area.
It is actually, it's funny you say that, it is actually a very manageable city.
Yeah.
More so than Barcelona was, and a lot flatter than Barcelona was from what we've experienced so far.
But I think, repeating a bit of what you've said there, guys, so far, Milo just then, I think it's nice to see so many familiar faces,
Absolutely.
It's actually really good to see it.
I couldn't believe I met you two here.
Moving on.
He has been very cheeky. But no, I mean, you know what I mean? Like, we've seen a few people, and actually, on day one, we're here, and I sort of said, you know, I wanted to see some of the city, and I feel like I've achieved that. So I think that, for me, when you're in a city for less than a short weekend, in essence, you know, you don't want to miss that opportunity. And we've got the best tourist guide, haven't we, here in Francesco, you know? Best ever.
Yeah, always
exactly.
a local.
He said earlier he's been to Milan 10 times, so he knows where everything is, and he took us straight to Starbucks Reserve, I've got to admit. Straight there.
For goodness sake.
Do not pass go, do not collect 200
It was an
euros.
experience. It was an
I
experience.
will be doing that experience tomorrow, I
You
think.
do
yes.
it is next level.
Oh,
That'll
and
be
you've
fun.
got to have the tiramisu.
So Milo,
on my
I have
agenda,
to. We'll have to include this on our little discussion here. So I've never been to this, obviously not this Starbucks
Maybe.
before. I've
been to Starbucks.
I've only known Starbucks on like a service station or the high street.
It's an Italian Starbucks. With Princi, there is the oldest bakery in Milan.
So I'm there and I've ordered my drink, and I didn't go down the Americano route. I was brave. I saw the featured menu. I'm going to go for that one. Didn't have the one with bourbon in. Tempting, but I went for the other one with gelato. Was it gelato in it? And
Gelato.
and I've never had this experience before. When they bring the drink, they say, "Oh, call your name, you drink," and they go, "Well, we're going to show you how you can prepare this to drink it." And I was in awe of it. She goes, "Right, this is the oil. You pour that in there. I'll leave a bit for you to put. This is the salt. She spoons it on, puts a bit on there. This is the coffee. Pours it around the gelato in it." And I was going, "This is amazing."
That's
How it's made, guy.
Well, yes, they weren't just ruining his breakfast in front of him. It's like,
Yeah.
Right, do you know what? We don't like the look of you.
Yes.
But the tourist in me was sat there then going,
So
right.
it gives him sugar, not salt.
So I then like pour it around, leave it as she's prepared it, and there's like a little divot at the top of the gelato where the oil's been poured in, and I'm there caught in the moment, and I just like drink it as it is, and all I get is like oil to my throat, and I'm there going,
lovely.
"This is nice," and I'm going, "Oh."
The first person to gag at Starbucks.
Yeah,
Reserve.
so it was a stirrer. So I stirred it all together, and then it was a
Fabulous.
very nice drink. But and it was an experience, and I've done it, and I've ticked it off. So
Amazing.
Very happy with that.
Well, actually, talking about experiences, there is the bull that's next to the Duomo that you're supposed to...
Don't talk
Don't
to Mark
go
about
down
the
there.
ball.
No? What? You're supposed to stick
so
your heel in it.
We'll tell the story of the bull. So Francesca goes, "The bull is just over there in the shopping centre." So off goes Mark while we're chatting to everybody in the
It wasn't
square.
Francesca who said that. It was Marta that said that.
Off we go.
Oh, Marta says so.
I misread Marta's directions.
What happened?
So
Come on.
Mark gets back after about 20 minutes and he goes, "It's a myth. It doesn't exist." Then Francesco said,
It's inside the gallery. Easy and simple.
Were those the exact words?
"That were the exact words."
Yeah, I misunderstood and said, "Oh, it's through the shopping mall over there."
Oh, no.
So we went through looking at Gucci, Rolex, all the
Don't stick your heel in that. Twist it around.
Yeah, so but saw a beautiful shopping centre, better than the Westfields in London, definitely.
Yeah.
I don't know. Speaking of the Westfield in London, there is a Starbucks Reserve there.
Oh, my God, Vasa.
Big glass domes, artwork, beautiful. A Saturday afternoon, a cosmopolitan city, people shopping, and it was rammed, and it was fantastic, and I was part of that.
It was very, very busy. But I managed to find the bull, stick my heel in it, turn 3 times, which is what you're meant to do for good luck, and it did bring in my first shiny Mudbury after an hour of the event. So
I love superstitious people, don't you,
it's
Mark?
Quality.
I am slightly superstitious.
Oh,
about
you
it.
I'm
superstitious?
going to play
So both of
into
you
that
do a
superstition.
superstition. Okay.
Slightly.
So Mark will be like, "Can't walk on the ladders, can't step on cracks."
I can't step on 3 drain covers in a row. I can't do it.
Okay.
Moving on.
We'll keep that in mind for later. It's one of those things because obviously, it's a part of the culture here and everything like that. And you see a swarm of people just gathered around this sort of floor tile that over the years has had the bull's crotch area worn very strongly because people have been sticking their heel in it. It's an experience.
Stinger bull is an experience.
Yes.
There we go. That's almost like a Top Gear special.
Incensed
It
special.
was a donkey, wasn't it? It was a horse.
Donkey.
It was a donkey.
It's a MUDBRAY, wasn't it? A MUDBRAY.
A wild Mudbray. So
Wild
Mark has
Mudbray.
had a fantastic experience with his coffee being constructed. I've assaulted a floor tile. What about you, Vasa?
Well, I was hoping to see more of the Francesco kind of Italian handshaking. I haven't seen that yet.
Ah, you haven't seen a car accident then?
No. We nearly got run over. Soon nearly got run over by a tram.
Ah, yes. You have to watch out for those here. But we talked about Barcelona very briefly. And looking back on that, I'd forgotten how nice it is just to have unknowns spawning in the
it's
wild.
so nice not to have to use incense.
Just
and for them
incense
to be in
and
the
then
wild
other
and
bits
in
and
decent
pieces.
numbers.
Yeah, they're really, really spawning very well. And I was like, oh my God, I'd actually forgotten what that's like.
Oh my god.
Oh my God. It has been so long since doing a City Safari event. We've done all these Go Fest bits and pieces.
Yeah, well, bear in mind, there have been a lot of city safaris, but
Not for us.
realistically, this is only the second European city safari, and Barcelona was 2023 at the back end.
Yeah, October.
So it's been a minute since we've had one in Europe, and hopefully there'll be another one sooner rather than later. But let's just talk, because the weather here is perfect. It's not too hot, it's not too cold. However, I don't know if it's Italian networks, I don't know if it's Apple Intelligence, I don't know what it is, but my phone has been melting the whole day, and the battery has
Really?
been depleting like you wouldn't believe. And it's not just me. Sue said the same thing, and Mark's had his battery plugged in most of the day as well.
I mean, my phone is just, the battery's basically had a hard life, so it's nothing unusual with that. But the screen brightness, when
Hard
it
knock
suddenly
life, Milo, yeah.
turns it off, yeah.
It's a
Not
lot
life for
life.
the iPhone, whatever it's 12 Plus or whatever this is. But no, when the phone brightness suddenly turns itself off,
Within the
basically.
first hour, the phone went onto dark screen, which is
Yeah.
not a good sign, because it wasn't that hot, and we don't really need phone fans, but you kind of do.
Yeah. But it's that thing of would the phone fan actually potentially help? I'll find out
It would
tomorrow.
have cooled it, which would have then made the screen go bright again.
Because the thing is, the phone wasn't hot. I guess the other thing is when you're walking around the castle area, it's all very pale gravel on the floor, so the sunlight is reflecting on the floor and blinding you while you're trying to squint at your phone and go, is that a shiny MUDBRAY? I don't think it is.
It's a shiny donkey. Donkey. Hey, more film references we can get in today. This is good. It feels like we're in Milan. That's fashion, isn't it? Milan's fashion centre.
Milan's fashion week. Really, we should have been here in the
Should be
next,
doing Zoolander
next
references.
month. Yeah.
Yeah.
Normally, what is it? May time at the fashion week.
Can you pull out a Magnum, Ian?
Magnum, like a 44.
No, the Zoolander.
Oh, I thought you meant. I don't know if guns are legal in Italy. Probably, actually, Francesco Po's contacts.
But we've talked a lot about positivity with this Milan event. And to be honest, so far it has been really quite good. But there are a tad few negative aspects to this. And the one that I've been reeling at is the egg drop rate. The 7-kilometre event eggs, which are not only obviously limited because they're 7-kilometre eggs, you're supposed to have a nice little pool of 4 Pokemon in there. I mean, yay, Mime Junior, fantastic. That's in there for the European lot. But the egg drop rate from gifts has been appalling. I don't know if you guys have experienced something like that.
I came into this somewhat like Mark was talking about this at the beginning of the day. Neither of us had cleared out our egg pools, and I've still got a couple of 12Ks to clear out, which, because of commitments we had right at the beginning of the event and going to Starbucks, we haven't actually done that much walking, and now we're sat down recording this podcast, so I've been hatching sort of 2 or 3 eggs at a time. I've been getting, I would say, mostly 7Ks dropped. There's probably 3 or 4 drops out of maybe 5 checks, which is about 60%. So for me, it's not been perfect. It's certainly not been every gift opening, but I've not had too much of an issue yet. My main problem is actually getting the distance to hatch the damn things.
Why am I not surprised?
That's not just me. It's not just me.
Well, I haven't hatched one 7K egg yet, and I've only got one 7K egg in my egg stash. So
Oh my goodness.
I'm not focused on the eggs. Listen, at the end of the day, I've MUDBRAY's in the wild, got the shiny MUDBRAY. Don't need Mime Junior. Jambo's spawning in the wild.
I could do with that. Yeah.
I've got that, and eggs are a con. So,
Well, they
Yeah,
are.
we
But that's
know
why we keep
this.
buying incubators.
but what I would say is I do struggle with the concept of putting them in an egg pool which is limited for an event. I think it doesn't make any sense. Just make all the stop spin on the event, event themed eggs.
That's
Just
a
keep
good
it
call.
simple.
Just put a higher drop rate of 10Ks and put the event spawns
Well, like they
in a
do
10K.
for when you buy the egg
2K eggs.
thing.
Well, there is
2Ks
an
would
Egg
have been
Enthusiast
nice.
add-on for the City Safari,
Yeah.
as well as a raid lover. Now, I haven't done a single raid today.
Me neither.
Neither me
No,
neither.
there's no need, really, because there's no special raids. I don't know whether they would have thought maybe about putting MUDBRAY in raids or something like that.
That would have been a better chance of getting a good one. But again, that's also where the tasks and the eggs come in.
Yes. And, well, I don't know about you guys. The field research tasks for me have been sort of A-OK. You've got 2 different tasks for MUDBRAY, which is nice, but then you do have a smattering of other terrible ones, which is the likes of Crab Brawler and a few other ones.
Crab Brawler isn't that bad. I mean, it was a Go Fest spawn for last year, and I know it came back again for Global, so none of us probably need it.
Yeah.
But there's something about that sort of red crab.
Have you got fond memories of it?
Yeah, there's nothing like having red crabs.
You like the feisty red
Yeah,
crab,
a little
do
bit
you?
sore at times.
It's slightly painful.
Ian, you'll be so funny
Ever so slightly painful.
Nothing wrong with having.
It's a lack of sleep, Marky.
That's what I was going to say. Because my mind's kind of like working with you on this. I'm kind of drifting into
Yes, but you're
that
keeping
there as
quiet.
well.
I'm
I'm
not.
dealing with 2 slightly delirious co-hosts.
Yeah, I think yeah, keep it simple. You know, if it's an event, yeah, listen, at the end of the day, they've done some great things today. You know, the Fuzzy Buzzy event, you know.
Fuzzy Buzzy.
Fuzzy Buzzy event that hasn't cut into the playtime on day one.
Yes.
We thought it might. So that's fantastic. That's a massive tick in the box for Scopely. Sorry, not Scopely, I mean...
The Pokemon Go team.
Pokemon Go team. I've always said that hatching eggs is a bit of a con, but you know, I understand why people would want to hatch them as well. I
Better buy more
absolutely get
incubators.
that. It makes sense. Minimal pull, and there'll be a lot of people coming over here going for the Mime Junior. Get all that.
100%.
Fantastic. So, yeah, haven't hatched any Milo.
Well, there you go.
I'm
Maybe
a
you're
filthy
in the
casual.
best situation.
Can I just say, and I know that
Welcome, trainers.
the boxes do vary, but have you seen today's boxes? They're terrible. They're absolutely terrible. There's a boost box for 99 coins with an incense and a lure. There's a great
They've
raid
combined
box.
2 podcasts in one
Yeah,
box.
Incensed lured up.
Yeah, there's a great raid box with 1 remote and 1 premium
There's
pass
nothing
for
great
250.
about that.
There definitely is. And the Voyager box has 5 regular and 5 super incubators for 1,120 coins.
That's bad.
Where are the good boxes?
Well, they know
we
'cause
need
it's
them
a-
for an event like this.
No, because it's an event like this, the boxes become rubbish. We know this. We had it on the Go Fest
Rubbish.
as well. Rubbish, absolutely.
We just have to
Not
wait
a
until the event
featured
finishes
sport.
and hopefully good boxes come back.
But hopefully that has kind of been the good old Milan chatter. I think
Big positives as well. Like, and again, we're oversighting the event a little bit with some of the other positives. Like Eevee stops, 1, easy to find. So people have never done a
much
city
more
safari.
condensed.
A
Yeah.
lot better than they were in
Yeah,
Barcelona.
and again, that's learning. They're learning from it. So people have never done a city.
Learning, I like it.
Do you like that?
Learning.
Learning, yeah. People that haven't done a city safaris before, the Eevee Explorer hats are part of the event, and you spin stops for Eevee. In Barcelona, they were there, but they were well spread out, and they were very hard to see. You zooming out on the map.
A lot
to see
more
'em.
visible this time.
A lot
Yeah.
more visible, and as Ian said, and Milo just said, that very close. So you don't have to go too far. Get your 9 done.
Yes.
Very simple, and more backgrounds on your Eevees with the hats. You can evolve them as well.
Final thing we really need to talk about is the quests, the quest, the research, the field research, and it's surprisingly very available for the MUDBRAY tasks, which is the catch 15 Pokemon or catch 5 species of Pokemon. It is dropping from most stops. I've not got a shiny from it yet, but there is a lot of it around.
Yeah, I mean, we were discussing it a little bit earlier, but I've definitely found myself deleting a lot of tasks because it's, you know, you look at it and go, that's Evolve a Pokemon, that's a Crab Brawler.
Exactly.
Or
Yeah.
I think even Munna's in it somewhere. I forget. There are quests for Corsola, which is nice.
Which is not. I do need to check that one out then, because I do need that blue boy, and that
Ooh.
is the chase for the rest of this afternoon and primarily for tomorrow. Of course, more donkey.
More donkey, please. Anyway, with enough Milan chatter there, I think it's time.
But what's that in the distance, Whitfield?
It's an Italian.
Pole.
Lepo.
I thought polo was a chicken.
Polo, that's Spanish.
The pole have fallen off, and yeah.
Where's it fallen off on the 3 options?
Southwest from here.
South. Okay.
Fallen
It's,
on the,
it's a southwest
fallen on
pole.
the turtle again.
Anyway. So we've done the poll today, and it was the boys have shared what reminds them the most about Italy. So which of these do you agree with the most? We'll go to the comments first before we reveal
Oh, yes.
the results. So Jasmine has put, and that is Jasmine Appley Big. I said that last time incorrectly.
It's Instagram.
Appley Big. There we go. Jasmine Apple BYG. Perfect.
I thought you
IG.
said Biaggi. I thought that sounds Italian.
Biage.
Biaggi.
Jasmine Apple BYIG. Done. Jasmine has put Fiat 500s because I drive one The football is a close second. Thank you, Jasmine.
Should have put Fiat 500 as an option, really.
Iron
Your favourite
Tyrus
car,
has
isn't
put Team Tiramisu
No.
with a little gif of tiramisu. As I always remember that.
Milo drives his favourite car.
Sue Hammer's just put Prosecco. Absolutely. Oh, Prosecco. Oh,
Aperol
that's
Spritz.
going to be in the Aperol Spritzer in a bit. That sounds good. Mark Bailey's put pizza, question mark, with a little slice of pizza. And Matty
Duh.
G with 1T has put not having food as an option is really weird.
Well, that's what happened.
That is what happens.
I'm
So,
afraid.
the results of the poll are as follows. In third place, with 0% of the vote, the Italian Job.
How can people not think of Italy?
You should have put Michael Caine.
In second place, and it's a good number, with 27% of the vote,
Oh, la la.
Aperol Spritz.
Yes. I'll take
Which
that.
means with 73% of the vote, and they almost have similar memories like myself, Serie A League football.
And that was all of Mark's X accounts.
I did wonder why he took so long and didn't speak for most of the chat.
Or did you get David to vote for you?
I don't know. I don't choose who votes on the poll. Our reach decides that. So there
I
we
don't know.
go.
We did actually see somebody earlier playing with 7 phones. He probably just got this other guy to do it.
Well, you'd have thought one of them would have been the Italian Job, Ian. But no, unfortunately not.
0%.
How
Ian
can
was
you not
literally a
think of
nun,
Italy?
though.
It's in the name.
He was literally a nun, though, on this poll. But
Yeah, not on the poll. No one picked food. That was as a game.
Yes.
I
We
did
should have
say
put- we should have
pizza.
put that
I
as a
did say
fourth
pizza,
option.
but then I obviously didn't
fourth
go for that.
bonus option. But we can flat pack the poll back into your suitcase, Marky, for transport. Hopefully Stansted or Ryanair don't charge
Get
you
it out
60 charge you 60 quid to take it on board. But
They're not going to swap it again, Milo. We're all right.
well, that's good news. Good news. But let's see if anybody's put some hashtag Shinies of the Week up for us to have a look at.
Shinies of the week.
Oh, yes, I've got a good one in Discord. Fabulous.
Welcome, trainers.
My
Is that
goodness.
another one, Ian?
Ian, stop just admiring your video.
Admiring. How many views does it have now on
Jesus,
Ian's device?
Damn,
It's a saved video, it doesn't count.
damn, I was good in that. Anyway,
I was
the-
good in that.
the
good, you are
hashtag
good at it.
Shinies of the Week has been
I better search
popping
for that.
off. Have a look faster, because I've dived into our Patreon exclusive Discord, and thanks everybody who gets involved in that Discord. It's awesome. We've got Malcolm from the land down under here has put second G-Bird Shiny. I was so excited, I jumped in the air. Nice. And it was the blue Articuno on a very nice, typically Australian beach background. Looks very good. So
Icebird on the beach, I should say.
Icebird on the beach. Why does that sound like an album?
I know this is the Shadow Week. Have you seen that?
And here we have a shiny Pavnoko.
A shiny Pavnoko.
Fantastic. Congrats, Malcolm, on that one. That's epic.
Well, the shinies are coming, and the beachy biome is actually very similar to this one. It's not beachy, though. It's more green, but it's from New Zealand, which means it's our boy Kiwi Steve 007.
Kiwi.
He's put Homespawn Shiny, party face emoji with a little sparkly symbol next to it. Hashtag Pokemon Go, hashtag Shiny Pokemon, and hashtag Shinies of the Week, which is the most important one.
Absolutely.
It is a shiny relicanth. Beautiful.
Oh, and it's home habitat.
Home habitat indeed. It's had a lot of people respond on it as well. So if you've responded, check out hashtag Shines of the Week. But Grateful XP has simply said, hot diggity. I can work with that.
Hashtag Ken.
That's hot giggity, isn't it?
Giggity.
Giggity. Welcome, trainers. Can we soundbite that welcome trainers?
Welcome,
Can we soundbite
trainers.
that? Yeah.
Is that what you want?
Yes.
That's not shiny.
No,
No, it doesn't have to. We know how this podcast works after 218 damn shows.
I didn't have a mic up, so that won't work. I'm scraping the barrel here because we've run out of shinies of the week. So I'm actually going to do this one, which I think Mark might approve of.
That's what he got stopped for in Stansted.
I think it might be actually JCSC with the Nundo
Ooh, I like a Nundo.
Amsterdam.
So waddle.
It's not actually from Amsterdam. It's from
Nundo
the
Waddler.
Netherlands. Actually, it is from the Netherlands. It could be Mark's favourite version of Swaddle.
It is in its
It
home
is.
habitat.
The Nundo Swaddle.
Yeah, fantastic.
That's fantastic. It is fantastic. It's a thing of joyous
JCST,
beauty.
you need to put that in a brownie, mate.
Sandwich it between two MUDBRAYs.
Oh,
No, which will come worse off.
can't eat donkey meat.
Probably could.
We're going down some dark roads today, aren't we, boys? Fast.
Dark and interesting roads. Well, there we go. I think it's time to wrap up this live Milan recording. Thank you.
I'd say so, because it's actually getting a bit cold sat here in the
I
shade.
think we need to get some footsteps in. It's definitely going to help us
Absolutely.
to finish off day one. And we will be back, of course, next week to check out the review of the whole weekend. But thank you very much for listening to the show. If you enjoyed it, make sure you hit the follow, plus, or subscribe button on whatever podcast platform you've managed to find us on, so you don't miss an episode, because, as we say, we never miss a week.
I've just thought of something else that reminds me of Italy. I can't say it on a podcast. Francesca knows what I was
So
about
why
to say.
did you butt your nose in? And
said that
getting
earlier.
back to it, as we always say, if you would like to leave us a review, that would be absolutely awesome. But, well, there's a few more thanks to give, aren't there, Ian?
There are. Everybody that is on our Patreon list, and that includes our bronze members who, without you, this podcast wouldn't be what it is today. You are the foundation, the bedrock of the podcast. But we also need to thank our silver tier patrons. And those silver tier patrons are KLXVI, Del Hazard, Spindiana, Laurie Beck, Steve in Norway, CC is Mad McFloof, Saul Haberfield, Lizzie George, Sander van der Drieser,
Nice. done.
Neonette, Ellen Rushton, James Alexander, Northern Soph, Tom Cattle, Charlie Todd, Robert Wilson, Miss Summer of 69, Malcolm Grinter, Geordie Castell, Shiny IKEA Mom, and we met him today, the Hot Weasel.
And, of course, we have to say an enormous thank you to our... That is not what we were meant to be saying. Gold!
Doing?
Gold! He's clearly got Austin Powers up there. We love gold as well, of course.
Oh, Francesca's got it going as well, as why?
Goodness sakes, it's just video replays of Goldmember going on. Anyway, the absolute pinnacle of our Patreon, the Gold members, as Mark and Ian are just losing it over there. Let's say a big thanks to JB, Kerry and Zachary, Barside 2, Mandy Croft, Mr. Mossam, Mufti, and of course Twiggy25. And once again, we do love our gold. But also we love our admin team of Sue and Francesca, who are accompanying us this weekend, of course. Thank you very much for all they do behind
Can I
the
just
scenes.
caveat this with Francesco and Mark are just dying over here.
I think it's up to you to end the show.
We need to pull up the...
Willkommen trainer.
Bienvenue, dresseur.
Welcome trainers.
Benvenuti allenatori. Andiamo.
Welcome trainers.
Leave me alone.
Grazie allenatori. Andiamo.
That's how the show's going to end.
But wait, we are... But wait, before we finish the show, boys, I've got some good news.
What?
Has Mark been drinking?
This is what you do when I'm not.
Sparkling water.
I've never had the soundboard before.
Revenge.
Well, next week's Max Monday is Persimmon, April the 7th, and it can be shiny.
Well, more good news.
What is it?
Welcome trainers.
To Meditite Spotlight Hour, which in... Oh, God, I'm choking to death. Which includes 2 times transfer candy on April the 8th.
Yeah, and we've got a raid hour on... Is it on Wednesday? Raid
What?
Normally, what?
Hour? Oh, good news, boys. Raid hour on Wednesday.
When?
Oh, that day, that week.
Why?
Shiny, Blacephalon and Stack Attacker make their debuts in Pokemon Go.
Nice.
Nice.
That brings us to the end of episode 217 of the Incensed podcast. We'll catch you next week when we are back in the studio.
Welcome, trainers.
You're just jealous.
We are.
Choose you!